Happy Monday. I'm so excited to be here with you all. Welcome to the Janelle Villiers podcast, where I am your host, Janelle Villiers. And I talk about all things related to books and how to publish your book and how to edit your book and how to market your book and all the things. Most recently, we've been on a tear about how you need to use your book to set it up to be an asset for your brand, for your business, and all of that. So stay tuned for more of that. If that's your jam, I'm all about that. Also, we've been talking a lot about AI and how to use AI to help you as well. Definitely, you don't want to blend in. So make sure that you are using it to expand your way of thinking and your intellectual property. But don't use it for everything, because otherwise you'll just blend in and sound like everybody else. Okay, now that I've been on my soapbox for that, what else do I do? A lot of times I interview authors. I interview other authors so you guys can hear from them, hear about their journey in writing their book. You can hear about what inspired them to write their books. And then even times where I interview people that haven't even written a book yet, but their story is so powerful that I really feel like it's important for us to spread their story out in the world. And I love to use my platform for that. So if this is your first time here, I just want to say hello, all my newbies. Go ahead and put a 1 in the comments. That way I can shout you out. Even if you're watching on the replay, I look at all of the comments. I will find you. If this is not your first time, if you are returning and you're like, oh yeah, I'm here for all the good stuff, then put a 2 in the comment section so I can shout out all of my returning people. Look, it's the easiest thing that you can do. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to like and subscribe. I just ask you to like and do that, because when you do that, that just tells the algorithm that what we're talking about is actually really good and valuable, and it just spreads the word even further. So go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna say that out now because I'm probably gonna forget near the end of it, because I am really excited for what we got today. So today, it is not just me. I have on a guest today, and I'm really excited. We're gonna be talking about the topic, breaking the cycle, why we repeat what hurts, with MB Lockett. She is our latest 2-time best-selling author. That's right. You heard me say it right. And I am super excited to talk with her. And so I just want to set the stage and be clear from the very beginning. Most people don't struggle because they don't want better. They struggle because they don't yet understand what they're repeating. And that is what this conversation is going to be about. So today I'm sitting down with MB Lockett, who I affectionately call Maisha, author of A Little Bit of Therapy and A Lotta God. And we're talking about what it actually looks like to face your patterns, tell the truth about your life, and choose differently. So it's not that you're going to choose differently once everything is resolved, but you're doing this while you're still in it, right? That's the hard part. And so this is not a polished conversation. We're going to have an honest one. So if you've ever found yourself asking, why do I keep finding myself here? You're in the right place. And I'm really excited that MB Lockett, Maisha, is here. There she is. Woo! Thank you so much for being on. I am so excited for this conversation.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I love your energy. I love it. I'm gonna be like you when I grow up.
Okay, so when people hear of the title of your book, and let me put this on display so people can see the title. I love the cover. So it's A Little Bit of Therapy and a Whole Lot of God, right? I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So when people hear the title of your book, what do you hope they understand immediately?
That it's a combination of the two. My healing journey has been both through church and scripture and prayer, and also time with my therapist. I don't separate the two. And God didn't ask me to separate the two. My therapist is well aware of my spirituality, and so that gets combined with my therapy sessions. Mm-hmm. And God's not telling me to stop going to therapy, that all I need is him. God is well aware that I need both. I don't know about anybody else, but Maisha needs both. So,
and you are not alone in that. I think that's what makes it so powerful, is because people immediately can see themselves in that, right? Like, yep, a little bit of therapy and a whole lot of God. So I'm curious, at what point, and we've had several conversations about your book, but this particular question, I was like, I don't think we've ever talked about this. But at what point did you realize this wasn't just your story. It was something that you needed to tell out loud.
Well, honestly, it started the day I left my ex-husband. I told my mother, I had a moment where the Holy Spirit spoke to my heart and was like, this was not for me. This was for somebody that I probably will never meet. And it didn't sit with me for a really, really long time. I wasn't prepared emotionally, spiritually to share what I was going through. So it took God and my therapist to get me to a point where I could say everything out loud.
I'm curious, what did that look like working through that? Was it lots of therapy sessions talking about how you feel like you've been called to do this and you were like fighting it and having conversations? Like, I mean, I've obviously read your book as your editor. Look, okay, full disclosure, I was on Maisha's editing team. I also helped to coach her to write the book. So I have read the book. And so I'm curious, yeah, what did that look like when you were working with your therapist, when you were having those conversations with God? Like, I haven't argued with God many times in my life, but I can imagine there might have been some arguing there.
Yes. So it was a lot of the Holy Spirit saying, when are you going to write the book? And I would say right on top of that. And then I would talk to my therapist and she would be like, what it seems to be, I was like, I just keep getting pulled to this. And she's like, what seems to be the blockage? It was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do it. And then again, it would be like, so then the Spirit would speak to me again and be like, so when are you going to do it? Because you said after this and you still didn't do it. And that went on for years.
Wow.
Years. Back and forth, back and forth. And then because God knows his daughter and because I work nights, and so I spent a lot of time on social media. And so one late night on social media, God said, I'll show you. And this energetic coach and author was on my Instagram feed. God changed my algorithm. Let's just say that. That's what God does. God has that power. And then it was like, now there's a human person, because my therapist is being supportive. You're not ready. That's fine. Let's talk through that, all the things. And then God said, Janelle's not going to let you not be ready. And so that's what happened. And so I wrote a book. I wrote 2 books.
And it was a journey. It was a journey. Full disclosure, just talk a little bit about that. And then I do want to get into the book because I know the tea's hot and people want to talk about this. But I will say it was a journey. I mean, we talked about moving quicker, right? Like doing my 10-week course, and you ended up working with me and we met monthly instead, right? And so you ended up doing the author's journey with me for a whole year. So we were together for a whole year, working through it. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's very clear that I'm called to help people get it out of their heads and onto paper. So that must mean that what you have to share is going to be that much more impactful than even you can realize. And so that's where my energy comes from, or like my purpose. It's like, no, because I know who the people are. Well, I don't know them personally, but I know that there are going to be multiple people on the other side of that, right, who are going to be impacted by what you have to say. So that's what pumps me up and gets me like, all right, well, we got to do this gently and kindly, but we still have to do it.
When we first met and we talked about the book, you was like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. And when is the launch date? And I clutched my pearls. Nobody had ever used such aggressive language with me.
A launch date.
And so we backtracked it and we set a launch date.
Yeah.
And then I pushed it back. I think I only pushed it back once though, because God told me that I couldn't push it back again.
And here we are. And so now we're launching. We're launching. Everybody, I'm going to put it in the comments now. And I just want to say hello to Beatrice and Dawn. I saw you guys. I was waving. Both of you said hello. I wanted to make sure that you knew that I saw you. If you guys have any questions for Maisha, please put your questions in the comments. I can put them up on the screen so that way she can answer them in real time. But yes, I'm going to put the link in the comments below so you guys can go ahead and get your pre-orders. Like, get those pre-orders in, because this book, we're going to get into that. Okay, so let's talk about what we talk about in the book.
Yes.
You write about repeating patterns, and that's what I really thought we should focus on. Mm-hmm. When did you first realize this isn't just happening to me, I'm actually participating in this?
Oh man, that, strangely enough, when I first left my ex-husband, my dad and I were talking, and he said to me, you need to go to therapy, because then you start naming off people. Because you did the same thing with this guy and this guy and this guy. And each person he said, I'm not saying this out loud because it's my dad, but in the back of my mind, each person I'm going, yeah, he was you. Yep, he was you. Yep, he was you. And in that moment, when my dad is pointing out a pattern, I'm connecting the pattern. And it was weird and gross and awkward.
Did you just like sit there and like nod as he was listening? Oh wow.
Yeah. It was like, huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then what did you do with that? Like, you were like, all right, yes, I am the connection. Like, I am definitely participating in this. And like, did you just like brush it off? Did you start talking about it with your therapist?
No, I have an amazing support system. And I think I left my ex-husband in February. By March, I had a therapist. It was like my sister-in-law was not playing around. She was like, we're getting you in there. And so it was pretty immediate that part, we were able to kind of start working through not just what was going on in the moment, because in that moment, I'm going through a very difficult divorce and custody battle, but also trying to understand, how did I get here? So it was like immediate that was, and there's still stuff that kind of, it's been 5 years and something will happen, and either in therapy or a pastor will say something, and it's like, ooh, huh. That makes sense. Things start to click. It still happens.
Okay, so you're starting to recognize that you are participating in creating.
Yes, I'm definitely participating.
So then what did the patterns look like in real time, before you had language for them, before you had your therapist and all of that? What did those patterns look like?
It looked like, meet a guy, and then there's one red flag, and it's like, maybe not. And then there's 2, and then there's 3, and then there's 4, and they just keep coming. And my brain is saying to me, it's not them, it's me. What normal people, I guess normal is what, what my family and friends, let's say that, saw as a red flag on the guy, I saw as something that I needed to change
in
myself every time. Yeah. And that was, me trying to fit somebody else's idea of who I'm supposed to be.
I think that's really okay. First of all, if you can relate to that, if you've ever found yourself trying to contort into a version of yourself for somebody else in a relationship, go ahead and put me in the comments because we got to know that Maisha is not alone in that. And I find, I don't know if it's for me, I feel like a lot of women do this. Like we contort ourselves to create this like version of who we think, you know, our person wants. So I'm curious, why do you think we do this? Why do you think people will just continue on with this, like thinking that it's going to change things?
Well, and then, you know, I speak about it in the book. It is part of something. This is the words that my therapist was able to point out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, full disclosure, I was a therapist the whole time that I'm doing all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I was a therapist. So I knew the things. I just needed the, you know, like they say, doctors are terrible patients.
Mm-hmm.
But it was part of my attachment style, which starts in early childhood.
Mm-hmm.
How the people that are supposed to care for you show up for you,
Mm-hmm.
teaches us how to love and be loved.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I grew up feeling that I had to be perfect
Mm-hmm.
to be loved,
Mm-hmm.
and be perfect to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mirrored that in relationships. If you don't like this about me, that means I have to change that so that you love me.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of me saying, well, deuces, go love somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that performative nature
Mm-hmm.
of, yeah, like I need to perform. I am not enough. Even though we're like born as babies, right? And immediately we're like, this baby has like immeasurable value, right? Something happens along the way where we're like, nope, not valuable anymore.
Right.
Must perform, must produce, must act in a certain way, right? That typically isn't our authentic way of being in order
Mm-hmm.
to, right? Like be accepted, be loved. I think one of the reasons why, and I mean, you can let me know if you feel differently, but I think one of the reasons why it's so hard to like, I think the reason why it's hard to like call out the pattern while you're in the relationship is there is a fear of abandonment. I think that's
Yes.
like a big part of it. I know for
Yes.
me personally,
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. So it's like, all right, we got to recognize these patterns, but I'm scared if I even like bring it up that it's going to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Right. And so that is something I struggled with. And it's still a struggle for me.
Mm-hmm.
That there are things that I could say to speak up for myself, and everything I love would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I work on it really, really hard. I have to. That is something that I have to push myself to do, to be less affected by the outcome of me standing up for myself.
Mm-hmm. I have so many things I want to say about that. But look, this is a live conversation. So if you have questions for Maisha, please put your questions in the comments because she will answer them in real time. Also, if you are like, holy cow, I can totally relate to this, please put an R in the comment section so we know that you are relating to this. This is resonating with you because you are definitely not alone, Maisha, and several of the things that you're talking about. Yeah, this desire to, or fear, right? Like fear of like standing up for yourself in some way, shape or form is gonna make people run away. Or we're not good enough to stand up for ourselves. It's like a whole, it's a whole spiral. So, okay, one of the other things that you talk about in the book is the idea of truths, right? Um, and so I'm curious to know, what was the hardest truth you had to tell yourself?
That I participated.
Mm.
I did, and not in the way that I thought I had participated. That it was a pattern, that I had been participating in for years and staying in these toxic relationships. But me participating was because I contorted, not in the way that I thought I was participating in not being good enough. And in the moments, I felt like I was adding to the problem because I wasn't good enough. In the process, afterwards, in the aftermath, I realized that I was participating by not saying, by not speaking the truth, by not saying what was on my mind, and like I said, not being attached to the outcome. Yeah.
So what do you think it cost you to be honest about your life?
I don't know yet. Honestly. Let's see. Well, I mean, I would say for me right now in this moment, the biggest thing is that it costs my children. Yeah. You know, my kids live in 2 houses and they don't like it. And so that's tough for
That
me.
is tough. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't like it. Yeah. But it's all they know and we're working through it. But right now, that's the biggest cost of saying, I cannot do that anymore and I will not do that anymore. But then on the other side of that, my children, they don't live in 2 houses, but they live with me as me, pure and raw and my authentic self. This is who I am, and not some version of what their father wanted me to be. Yeah.
You know, they say the truth shall set you free, but sometimes it doesn't always feel
It doesn't.
free at first.
No, it
Right?
doesn't.
It feels icky and
It feels gross.
Yeah.
It's gross and it's hard. And I am better able as this Maisha to meet the needs of my children than I would have ever been with their father. And I am very well aware of that, and I am very thankful for that. I don't know that my kids would have been, they would have been great and they would have been safe, but they wouldn't be as awesome as they are. Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have had the authentic you.
Mm-mm.
All right. Again, if you have questions for Maisha, please put them in the comments so that way she can answer live. I have some questions because you know there are other authors who watch the show who are trying to get tips and pointers. And so where did you feel the most resistance while writing?
Truth, I didn't want to do it. There was no most resistance. I didn't want to do it.
The whole thing was.
I didn't want to do it. I did not want to talk about it to the world. That's gross. I didn't want to do it. And so I think when you and I first started working together, Janelle, and it was like, okay, well, 30 minutes. Just write 30 minutes every day. And it was like, okay, that I could do. Me. And then it just, oh my gosh, it goes so fast.
It went by so fast. Continue your thought. Finish
Yeah, no, and so that just grew and grew. And then another thing was too, because I was in the author's journey, I was not going to be the one person that came every month that hadn't written anything significant all month. It was not going to happen. I was not going to do it. That is not my life. I'm a people pleaser. And so I was not going to be the one. And then I told people, I told my mom, I told my sister-in-law, I told my sisters. And so they would ask,
how's it going?
Yeah. How's the writing going? And my mother, it's like you can't lie to her. Like you just can't do it. Like she's weird. She just can't do it. And so it wasn't like I could like, oh yeah, it's going great. I wrote 14 chapters last night, you know? Right. So then you have to say,
Right. And that doesn't feel good either.
No. So yeah, it was hard because it was raw and it was real, and I was putting my story out there for the world to see and hear and judge. But God told me that I had to. And then Janelle told me when I was going to do it. And so it was like I had to do it. I had to just do it. So that the voices in my head would stop.
All right. So as we bring this in for a landing, my final question to you is, and again, if you guys have like 3 minutes to answer your like burning desire question before we wrap up. If someone is listening and recognizing themselves in your story, what would you want them to know?
That you're not alone. You're not the only person. And God knows. I don't know what your relationship is with God and faith, but he knows what you're going through, and he's just waiting on you to come and talk to him. He's sitting right there waiting on you. So, and talk to him raw and real. I think people sometimes think you're supposed to pray a certain way. Me and God have a very realistic conversation sometimes. So yeah, you're not by yourself. And even if there's no human person there, God is. Amen. And he wants to be there with you.
Relationship. Yep. Amen to that. All right, guys. So if you haven't already, I'm going to put the link in the chat again, but please go pick up your pre-order today of A Little Bit of Therapy and a Whole Lot of God. This is such a great book. It was amazing working with you. The story that you share is so powerful. I'm just thrilled and proud to be a conduit with which to help you get this story out into the world. It truly has been a pleasure. And everyone, please, again, if this has been bringing you a lot of value, please go ahead and put a V in the comments. Let us know. Some claps, all the things. We appreciate all of the things. If you're watching the replay, thanks for joining us on the replay. We love all the comments, all the V's, all the R, anything that we've been talking about. We appreciate all of them. Even if you have a question, please put your questions in the comments if you're watching the replay. I will get your questions to Maisha. I'll get them answered. So don't you worry. And if you want to reach out to Maisha directly, you can find her on Instagram, littlegirlinme_. She's a real person. She will respond. You can slide into the DM. Get your questions answered there. Honestly, this has been like the time just flew. Seriously. This is great. I will put the link again in the chat. Go ahead and everybody get your pre-orders. Get them while they're hot. And we got to have you come back because obviously this conversation was too short.
I know, right? There's so many things.
So many things. All right, everyone. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you, Maisha, for being on. We will be back. Well, at least I will be back. Maisha will not be. But I will be back next week. Same time, same place. I look forward to seeing you all there. Bye, everyone.